while we're waiting to start the meeting, we have a new representative from the town of Lunenburg.
It's all
Stephanie.
It's on the
Hi,
table.
we're introducing you. So Stephanie's, it's her first meeting tonight. You were appointed last night, was it?
Last night,
Last
yes.
night. If you want to introduce yourself, feel free.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Quinn. I'm the new representative from Lunenburg. I have two students who graduated from here, one 22 and 24. They are amazing and doing so well in school right now. So I just wanted to have an opportunity to give back and contribute to this wonderful school. that we have.
We're very happy to have you here tonight.
Welcome.
Or 12, that is? Excellent. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I do. There's one here. Stephanie's lacking the ability.
She hasn't got credentials.
All
They all have
right, so we may have to.
Thank you.
All right. First thing I'd like to do is introduce guests and visitors for this evening. We have John Jesuit. I'm sorry, John. The auditor for Montachusett. And John Harris. Well, we can't hear John.
You should be able to hear John.
You guys fine for me? Sorry, the other voices are very soft.
There we are. We can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, yeah, I could hear faintly somebody saying John, but it was, I think the voices of them are via the computer are probably a little soft.
So, John, we're giving you the floor now. It's your opportunity.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for having me tonight. I am going to share my screen. Oh, am I able to do that?
Yes, you can.
All right. When I click share, it says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
1 second.
That's not good, sir.
This is just a test for you, John.
And Don, you too.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll meet tomorrow night. Ta-da.
Oh, that looks like it'll work. Okay. Do you guys see a PowerPoint slide?
We do.
We do.
This month.
Okay. All right.
Johnny.
So, well, first off, thank you guys for having me tonight. My name is John Jesuit, and I'm here to talk about the fiscal year 2024 audit. So, briefly, this is since this is my first time presenting to you guys. This is a quick little background about me. I am a CPA here in the beautiful Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I have been since 2016. This was my first year back working on Montachusett. I had previously worked on the audit for a few years back when I first started in 2012, probably through 2016. But geographically, the district is right in between two of our offices. So for the last few years, one of our other offices had handled this audit, but is now back with me. So I was happy I could be here tonight to talk about it. For those of you who have been with the district since before January 1st of 2023, you may notice that the names on our reports have changed. Before January 1st, 2023, we were known as Melanson. We were a smaller regional firm with about 120 employees or so. Starting January 1st of 23, we merged with a firm called Markham. They were a much larger national firm, which significantly grew our practice and our resources in the governmental industry. Last November, so I think it's November 1st of 24, Markham then merged into CBIZ. And so now, going forward, we are CBIZ, or more specifically, CBIZ CPAs. So there's an interesting combination, but so a CPA firm has to be owned by CPAs. So to have what our firm does, we operate under what's called an alternative practice structure. CBIZ CPAs is the accounting firm. CBIZ, just CBIZ, is the larger firm that CBIZ CPAs kind of falls under. So this was just some information about CBIZ CPAs. Like I said, it was really newly created. CBIZ is actually a publicly traded company. They do much more than just accounting. There's also big markets for insurance and technology. But like I said, we as your auditors operate under CBIZ CPAs, and really the people who have been handling your audits, because at least since 2012, as long as I've been with the firm, it's really been our same kind of group of people that have worked on this. So we've got a very good relationship, even though, like I said, even though the name on the reports have changed, a lot of the people doing the work have stayed the same. So, real briefly, so we did the quick intro. I'm going to talk a little bit about the audit, what we do, and then I will go into some numbers from the fiscal year 24 statements. Obviously, we are, in October of 25, so it is a little outdated, so I won't spend too much time, but I can absolutely stop and answer any questions, highlight anything, if anyone has any questions along the way. After the financial statements, I'll talk about the single audit report, which is that on the federal grants, and then I'll open it up to any questions or comments. But I did say, if you think of a comment or a question along the way, feel free to interrupt and I can stop and answer that. So, like I said, a little bit about the audit. So, our audits are performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. This is, what's standard practice in the United States. Everyone pretty much has to follow that. Similarly, specific for governmental audits, they have to follow governmental auditing standards. Our responsibility as the auditors is to issue an opinion on the financial statements. So, the financial statements themselves and their fair presentation is the responsibility of management. However, we as the auditors prepare the financial statements as a service, as part of the audit. But ultimately, at the end, they are sent to management for review, and they, ultimately accept it on the district's behalf. So, ultimately what we're here to do is to issue our opinion on whether or not the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. So that is done with a significant amount of testing that we do on all your balance sheet accounts, revenues and expenses, across all funds. We do utilize materiality, which is standard with the accounting standards. And this is, obviously we cannot look at every dollar, every transaction, every invoice, every payroll transaction. It would just take too much time and be too expensive. So between different methods of substantive analytical tests, tests of detail, we have a variety of ways to get very comfortable with the balances that are being presented on the financial statements. So going into that, the financial statements themselves, there are really 5 parts to them. So the first is the independent auditor's report. This report is the only part of the financial statements that is ours, and when I say ours, I mean CBIZ as the auditors. This is what we prepare. This is what the outcome is. It's where we issue our opinion. Very happily, you guys had an unmodified opinion this year, which is the good thing. There were no issues. And that's highlighted in the independent auditor's report. After that, everything that comes after that is the responsibility of management. All of the numbers, all of the footnotes, that's really the accuracy of that goes to management. However, like I said, it is part of the audit. It's a service that we provide, that we put it together. So the parts of those are the management's discussion and analysis. Then there is 2 sets of financial statements, your government-wide and the fund basis, and then the notes to the financial statements. The government-wide financial statements are everything consolidated down into one column. So this is the entire general fund, all of the special revenue funds, and it also includes long-term accounts such as your capital assets and long-term debt. The fund basis is probably more what you guys would get for internal reports. This is broken down by the general fund, special revenue funds, capital project funds, and then there are notes to the financial statements. Really anything with a balance has a footnote to it, which could be cash, accounts receivable, everything really has anything with a material balance has a footnote that describes it in further detail. Is there, I guess, before I go into the numbers, is there any questions before I continue?
Not seeing any.
Okay. Okay, so this, if you're following along, is your statement of net position. It's probably about page 10 or 12 in the financial statements if you have them in front of you. But really what I just wanted to do is highlight at the very bottom, total net position is a bracketed number for anyone who is financially savvy. Generally bracketed or numbers at the bottom of the financial statement aren't good, kind of scary. But I like to highlight that that's really not the case. This is very common for most municipalities in Massachusetts. The reason that it is shown as a negative is because very plainly the liabilities are higher than your assets, and that is largely because of these 2 liabilities right here, your net pension liability and your net OPEB liability. As you can see, they total up to over 60 million. Both of those numbers come directly from actuaries. Those are, your OPEB has its own actuary and the retirement system has its own actuary. They produce reports and we use those, numbers from their reports in our audited financial statements. So I just like to highlight that to make sure everyone's aware that, that's not a, big, scary, bad thing. It's really just to highlight that there are large unfunded liabilities, but, at this point in time, that's, pretty common across, like I said, most municipalities. Everybody has pension and OPEB, and, it depends on how well they're funded and how big of a district it is that, would factor into their size. So I do like to just highlight that just to make sure everyone isn't nervous and scared for seeing a big negative number. So that's the government-wide financial statement. That's the second half of it. And so then this little blurb comes from the governmental balance sheet. So this is apart from the different funds. So I really just highlight the general fund balances and what they kind of mean, since those restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned probably doesn't mean much to most people. So just so so you guys are aware, the restricted fund balance, you'll see if you're looking at the full financials, the restricted fund balance is really used for special revenue funds. It's for things that they're restricted for use. The committed balance, this 200,000 represents what was voted to be used for the capital stabilization or capital budget. The assigned is a combination of the reserve for encumbrances and the reserve for the operating budget. And your unassigned balance, this is really kind of the starting point for E&D. This is where all the ultimate at the end of the year revenues and expenses close to. This balance for financial statement purposes also includes the balance of the stabilization fund in there. So that's, most of the revenues and expenses, like I said, those are, reports that you guys have probably seen quite a while ago now at this point, since this is 24, and like I said, we're in October of 25. So if you have any other, numbers questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, the other report that you may or may not have in front of you, the other report that we've produced is called the Single Audit Report. It really is what we come up with for your federal grant audits. Every year, if if you receive over $750,000 in federal funding, you're required to have a federal grant audit. And this, what I have up here, is really the summary page. This is just one of the pages in the maybe 15 or so page report. But this is really kind of is the summary, is the highlights, if you will. So you'll see right at the top, it notes that the report was an unmodified opinion, meaning all was clean. There were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. Those are fairly severe breakdowns in internal control, something where we would feel that we found that it could have an impact on the accuracy of the financial statements. So very happy to say nothing there. There's no non-compliance noted, and yeah, there's no findings. And so the two grants that we looked at was the nutrition cluster and the education stabilization fund. Every year there's a kind of a roadmap that we have to go through based on the total federal expenditures that you have. That's it. There's a kind of formula to figure out which grants are needed to be audited each year. Like I said, and that's driven based off of the expenditures from those grants. Okay. So that was really all I had prepared. Like I said, it was a pretty nice, clean year. Happy to report. But I am happy to answer any questions about the numbers, the audit reporting process.
Wonderful. Mr. Prasad?
I have a couple questions, actually.
John, are you able to?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. It's kind of faint, but I can hear.
I was just wondering, these are over almost 14 months after the fiscal year-end date. What took so long?
What took so long? Yeah, so we had the audit was scheduled on the later side of the year. We did ultimately make a push to get it done for March 31st. Not everything was quite ready for us to work on, but it was shortly thereafter. Tammy and her staff were able to get us stuff after March 31st. But yeah, at that time it was just kind of a we had a lot of jobs going out at the same time, and admittedly there were delays on our end. We'll take my fair share of the credit for that.
So as a follow-up, sorry.
Go ahead.
As a follow-up to that, normally I'll see in financial statements a note saying, as of this date, management hasn't come up with any other issues that have evolved, given this was issued in August. I can't remember what it's called. There's a statement that you usually put in there that says, this is issued in August, but we don't know of any other events. What is it?
Materiality?
Yeah, no. You're the
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Oh.
John, Mr. Praside's asking, and I'm trying to come up with the term.
What's the term?
It's the term for when you check to see if any subsequent events.
Yeah, there's no
happen.
subsequent event statement.
Yeah, if there was any, or you looked at any, or knew of any.
Thank you, Tammy.
No, yeah, so that was, Tammy, right near, right by the financial statement date, that's what we generally get a confirmation from the business manager, which you provided, that there were no other subsequent events or, and we also follow back, because we send out legal letters to, the attorneys that had any kind of material work on the district in the year, and we get a follow-up and make sure that there were no, other arising legal situations as well.
So, did I just miss it? Is it in the notes? I didn't see a subsequent event note in there.
Well, if there are no subsequent events to note, we don't necessarily put it in the report. There is a commitments and contingencies. Hold on, I've got a copy of it in front of me. Let me scroll down real quick. Yeah, so note, I guess guess I'll say, so note 17 on, if you're looking at the report at the bottom right corner, page 59 of the financial statements. Note 17 is commitments and contingencies, where there's one about litigation, and yeah, if there were any subsequent events, it would be noted in that section.
Okay.
Any other questions for John? Seeing none. Thank you, John. We appreciate you presenting this evening, and I'd like to thank Ms. Crockett and her team for ensuring that we stay compliant with our audits and our grant programs.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Are there any other guests or visitors to recognize this evening? No? Public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to make a comment this evening? Seeing none. Approval of the meeting minutes. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 3rd?
So moved.
Mr. Brooks
Second.
and Diane seconds it, and we'll wait for Tammy. Any discussion? Okay.
Okay. Okay, it's open.
All right. Stephanie, you don't have a laptop, so you won't be able to vote this way, but
Yep, so I'll look to you also, I'll have
That's
to
true.
get Jada and Tamara, because we didn't have you in.
all right.
Yes,
So-
yes.
And Stephanie, in terms of votes, you can abstain, you can vote yes or vote no.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
And congratulations, your first meeting, you get an audit report.
Just,
Bet you're glad you rushed to get certified.
Yeah.
It was union, one abstention.
One
so.
abstention. All right, motion carries. Superintendent Director's report, Superintendent Brown.
Donnie's gonna bring me up here.
Give me 1 second.
Part-time.
He only needs about 3 more hands.
There you go. All right. So start off, once again, I mean, this has kind of been the trend for the last several years, months, certainly the last 2 years. Co-op is going off, started off wonderfully. Kim Curry and the vocational instructors and guidance counselors, the students themselves, doing a fantastic job going out there. So again, 134 students are already out on co-op, before the end of September. That is a record pace again. We'll see what happens if that continues, but really proud of that. Certainly should note that there's another 20 that are already in the pipeline, so I think it looks like it's going to be another great year for co-op. And again, those folks do a wonderful job for all that, so we appreciate that. Another just is kind of random, I guess, non sequitur, but DESI's been gathering a lot of data, and they don't necessarily send it out on reports, so sometimes you just kind of stumble on it. And I was looking at and came across student attendance data, and what they had done is, they had given all the results, and they had ranked, well, they'd just given all the districts what their results were, and you could sort them. And when I sorted a bunch of the attendance ones, I happened to notice that Montachusett is in the top 10 for the entire state. This isn't just Central Mass or just the vocational schools. This is all schools across, all districts across the state. So certainly taking a look at attendance rate, 95.8, average number of absences, 7.3, and then the absent 10 or more, the percentage of the student body with that had more than 10 absences, we're still only at 25.4. Yes, ma'am.
Just had a quick question about the co-op going back.
Oh, sure.
Do you guys have like a breakdown of any shop that maybe is struggling having students finding co-op, or is it pretty straight across the board, everybody's getting a little bit from each shop?
I would say in general, it's pretty good. There's a few shops that sometimes kids aren't going out as quickly. I think Auto Tech and Auto Body sometimes want to make sure the kids are really up to speed when they go out. But certainly start of senior year, by mid, they're back on track and they're up and going. So,
Okay.
yep, yes, sir.
The next one relative to the data relative to attendance.
Yep.
We're the 9th in the state. We have 25% absent 10 or more days.
Correct.
I guess that tells us something.
So what I'll say is when I showed the admin team, we're sorry, if they ever watch this video, they'll know. We always say, where's BVT? And guess what? BVT was at 33%. So we are well below, I guess what you would call our competition, if you want to call it
Well,
that.
they're right with us on one of them.
They are. They were right below us, or they're tied with us for just attendance rate in general. So, what that tells you, John, is you don't want to see how many are at the other end, trust me.
I was going to ask you for a little comic relief.
Yes.
What's the other end?
Yeah. So, all right. But no, but good data. I mean, that's teachers, counselors, that's the whole crew doing what we need to do. Very quickly, Diane had mentioned, because there was a story that came out about MCAS results and the concerns of passing MCAS and everything else. And I started to put together a lot of data, and then I decided, the 3 charts at the bottom really kind of state in general. In general, what you can see, and I'm sorry it's kind of small, I didn't realize it would be this small, but maybe you can see it better on your screen. But the bottom 3 charts are the charts that kind of do the year-to-year comparison of where we are and how our students did on MCAS in terms of exceeding expectations, meeting expectations, partially meeting, and not meeting expectations. And if you look at the comparison from year to year, there hasn't been, yes, ELA in terms of exceeding expectations, a little bit of a decline, but in general, most of our numbers are pretty consistent with what we've had. I know there's a lot of talk about, the MCAS results, on the news about, being lower or not where they should be. I don't think I need to remind everybody, for grade 10, it doesn't count anymore. So that nobody should be shocked, saying, oh my goodness, some of the numbers have gone down. It depends on the culture that you have. And I say proudly, I think the numbers show that our culture in general still said, hey, it's an important test, I'm going to do well. Most importantly, the data point that the state really is the only one they're directly looking at really right now is participation rate. And we have 99% I think on math, but we had 100%. Next time I'll get in my car and I'll drive out to the house so the kid who didn't show up and bring him back for the test.
Mrs. Swanson with a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I read through that article because I was kind of shocked when I saw it to begin with. And I went through the whole list and I did not see a vocational technical school listed.
Yeah.
So it seemed like that what they reported implying all schools in the state, but yet there's 27, 20, 30 schools not being represented by the MCAS, so I'm glad you provided.
Was it the Boston Globe?
Sentinel had an article.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
And maybe the
If you're ever looking for a good article about vocational schools, don't look for the Boston Globe.
Oh, no.
They are not fans of vocational schools. So, but anyhow, to the staff, to Christy and the academic staff, and certainly vocational staff supports that, counselors support that. Really pleased to see that we're still on track, doing strong on MCAS. Just quick update on some of the things on MVP program. When we came back in September, the first group didn't come until the following week. You can see our enrollment there for the numbers of kids from Fitchburg, Gardner, and Narragansett. They're off and running, doing a wonderful job. If you remember, one of the things we're doing is trying to get business partners sponsorships, and we'll put their logo up on the wall down there. Just recently, we had 3 more companies come on board, Todd Whitney Electric, Applewood Controls, and FW Web, and just those 3 alone resulted in $27,000 worth of sponsorship. So really great job by Katie and Melissa and the team and everything else. We have a few minor touches out front of the front steps. We're putting in some faux stone out front. So our Montachusett kids are still wrapping up a couple things. They have to do that relatively quickly because if you see the upcoming events, the Chamber of Commerce, I think I might have mentioned this even actually at the last meeting, I'm not sure, but they reached out to us and asked us to be the final stop on this year's annual manufacturers tour. So that'll be a great stop. That will get 30 or 40 business folks into the building. We'll be able to show them around. We'll show them the sponsorship wall and see if we can get a couple more sponsorships. But really proud of that. Later on at the end of the month, we will be starting our Clean Energy Center grant, our adult workforce training. That'll be happening down at MVP Academy. And just so everybody knows, the Part A, the first part of the new partnership program application for plumbing that we did not get to submit last year, those will be due November 14th. We've already reached out to the 3 sending districts, talked about how we can support them, gave them some template language that they could use and everything else, so hopefully that's going to be ready to go. So, yes, sir.
The senior classes seems a little small. We lost some students.
We did. So there were, the senior class, especially in house carpentry, as you can see, is down a little bit.
That's our first. Those are actual juniors.
Correct. They're second years. Yep.
Yeah. Why?
I think some kids just left the program. I think some kids liked the program, but they may not have liked the expectations, how we say, the personal expectations of the program. So, but we did, yeah. So we're down a little bit. But what I will say is this: the juniors who have come in, round the group, everybody feels this year's juniors is much more focused and looking forward to doing vocational training. I think, to be perfectly honest, that the sending districts, who they were recruiting, I think they decided, let's take a look at who we're recruiting to do this. And I think that it seems like we have a great group of kids in the juniors, so hopefully we'll get better retention.
Will they be required to do a lottery if those programs are oversubscribed next year?
So far, everything that we're going with, what Mom is saying, is that it's lottery for grade 9 enrollment, grade 9 admission. So not necessarily for individual programs yet, like exploratory or anything like that. So, all right. So speaking of admissions, we were here last month and we talked about what we were going to be doing for the lottery process. We still have done that. There were 2 or 3 edits that were suggested at the last meeting. Those should be reflected in the version of the admissions policy that you have there now. We did continue to work with some of the different lottery platform providers that were out there, and go to CTE. About 17 or 18 of the other vocational schools were using them. This is a group that was started by, Louis Lopes, who's the long-time superintendent at Southeastern Vocational. He's very familiar with vocational admissions, how the process works and everything else. They presented their platform to us, and one of the options they gave us was to do that they will just do just the lottery, which is kind of what we were looking to do anyhow. Because if you remember, our thought was to do a slow transition for the families, maybe continue to do the paper application, they're used to that, and then kind of enter the data just like we always do, and then do the lottery separate. So this worked out really nicely, and frankly, it was also relatively cheap as well. So we have them signed on. Mr. Lopes will come up, do the lottery right here for everybody, for the public piece and everything else. So we think that will go very well. So that's something we're looking forward to. And then last but not least, we have reached out to all the sending districts to kind of let them know that we're here to help, that this is a transition. We let them know that, yes, it is a weighted lottery, but we're only using the attendance piece in terms of the criteria. We'll collect that in mid-January. We did send out our invitations to their staff. They do all of their admissions to come. Obviously, it's going to be a different process for them, and it's in many ways. So that will have staff come on October 10th. Tour days, we do the half day on the 24th and the full day on the 27th for tour days. And the other thing we did is I happened to be at the Worcester County Superintendents Association meeting, and one of a different district, not us, or a region. asked, hey, does anyone have anything for the middle school pathway exploratory? And a whole bunch of other teachers, superintendents raised their hand and said, we don't know what we're doing either. It just so happened that folks at MAVA had put together kind of a draft that we could share that would kind of show them what kind of language they could use and everything else. So I ended up sharing that out with our sending districts, so they all have that. It's not a long document. It's a page and a half, maybe 2 pages. But it's not. They don't give the guidance from CT or from DESI hasn't been the best. So, but we did share that. So we're hoping that the transition's going to be different, but hopefully it's all going to go very well. So hopefully everything all goes well. We'll have the second vote today, and then we'll send it in at the end of the month. Okay, so the big piece that I need to talk about is the CT expansion grant that I mentioned earlier this year. Again, same thing we kind of talked about, around $60 million available, individual awards up to $5 million. It was posted back at the end of August, and it closes on October 31st. Again, the main goals of this grant are to increase the number of students at vocational schools, so increase the seats being offered. Excuse me, I'm a little cold, hopefully I'll last. And to meet the demand of the labor market, and also just to include or increase capacity. So, and using that for night programs as well. So, what we were talking about when we were first sitting down was we talked about maybe a diesel engineering program or diesel technology program. We realized, one, trying to find a facility that would be appropriate for that was going to be difficult. The one that we were looking at also came with a lot of extra land that we would never do anything with, so, excuse me. Diane, every time I take a sip, talk. All right, so the, what we thought we'd try to take a look at is we came up with what we were calling Healthcare and Public Safety Academy. And what we'd be putting in place would be adding a program, medical assisting, and adding a program called public safety. Public safety is what used to be the old Chapter 74 criminal justice program. So, what we would do is we would bring those on board. Right now we have health occupations. What we would essentially be doing, our current health program kind of blends the medical assisting piece and the health piece a little bit. So they're already kind of crossing within the one program. What we would do is we'd separate out those two programs. When you have something that's really good, more of it's better. And our health program is fantastic. And being able to get more access for students to get to health programs would be wonderful. So splitting the two programs, having the medical and the health, two separate programs, and then the public safety program there as well. It would be kind of rolled in process as we build up and everything else. There's some new opportunities. These are just simple ideas. Some of these we already do. But these are just some of the things that might go with health assisting. Some of the potential certifications that might go with the medical assistant, and then some of the ones that go with public safety. So, these would be the three programs that we would put in whatever new facility we had. Now, you can do construction or you can do lease and renovation. In both cases, the grant, only 70% of the grant can be used to do that work. All right, so that kind of puts a little bit of shackles on us because this work is not necessarily going to be inexpensive. One option we did take a look at, kind of with the MVP model, this is a building another mile or so down the road from where MVP is, maybe a mile and a half. Just down the road, it's for lease, 22,000 square feet. It's certainly unlike the empty shell that we had with the warehouse. It has office space and everything else. So we would not have to do, the basic complete total real bit, but there'd still be a lot of work that we would do, that we would need to do. And one thing is also it's not necessarily ADA compliant, so we would have to do all the work for that as well. But that's an existing building that we could consider. Yes, sir?
I was just saying, when that building was built, it was kind of an iconic construction piece because it was compared to a Frank Lloyd Wright type of construction.
Who knew?
And at one time, there's a waterfall behind that building. At At one time, it was a hot spot for people to get wedding pictures taken.
No kidding.
And also, it would be very accessible for the superintendent, because I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but on the roof of this building is a heliport.
I was
Oh,
gonna say that.
very nice. Excellent.
Was it Pittsburgh paper or Crocker paper? Pittsburgh.
The gentleman, there was a gentleman from Lunenburg who was the president of Fitchburg Paper at one time. Grado was his name. And he had a heliport in his backyard. He used to fly back and forth from Lunenburg to here.
I prefer Learjet, but thank you for the offer.
Yeah.
Is that, Tammy, is that in my contract? Okay, very good.
Slightly
Excellent.
longer runway.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I can't land on River
What was in
Street?
there,
No.
what was in there most recently?
Mock, correct.
Yeah.
That's the,
Opportunity
yeah,
Core?
is that the one right at the bottom of the hill there?
Yes.
Right at the bottom of Wallace Ave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's one option we can look at. The other thing is we've been talking a lot at school committee about what's down there at the end of the PAC parking lot. And so I decided it was time to find out. So Bowler Engineering did the work for the site plan and everything down at 270. I reached out to them, they're wonderful people. I said, guys, I need a quick feasibility study to determine whether or not we can build something down there. They did the study, they turned it around very quickly, got it back to us last Friday, and they said, yes, we can build. Now, I'm not talking about the property, that mystery property that we found, that we have, that's where the power lines are and goes all the way over to the machining company there. This is on the other side. It's basically right at the end, and you can see in these two drawings, the parking lots in front of the building there on the left side of the pictures. That is basically the end of the PAC lot. And they said, listen, there's two different footprints you could do. You could do an 18,550 square foot building footprint, but to do that, you're gonna have to move some sewage lines. You could also do a 13,000 square foot building, and that you don't need to move any of the sewage lines or anything in that situation. We're not sure if 13,000, frankly, is enough square footage for what we want to do necessarily. We can build, we're not doing this, we found out you can build up to 5 stories. So if we wanted to build a little, that's where my helicopter could land. That would be impressive. So we have options, looking at that footprint and as an opportunity. So what we're now doing is we're now working with a design company to kind of get us some real numbers. Because when you look at the numbers of what this is going to cost, we estimate, again, I emphasize estimate to people who we've talked with, that a new build would be $500 per square foot. A renovation would still be $350 per square foot. Even when you look at the total cost, you look at the grant and know that only 70% of the grant can go to those specific renovation and construction costs. It still means a number that we hope to have a better number to be able to provide, but it still means that there's going to be a significant, cost that's going to go to Montech itself. That being said, again, we're adding students to the enrollment. And when you add students to the enrollment, that means you're going to get more Chapter 70 funds, Chapter 74 funds as well. So, depending on when we would start and everything else, there'd be no new students no matter what, even that, because again, it's a year behind. You have to have the October 1 numbers and everything else. But then if we brought in 20, so again, 2 new programs, technically, the medical assisting and the public safety would be new programs. So if we did 20 students per program per year, eventually we're getting up to 160 students, which would increase our budget incoming to about $3.3 million. That's estimated based on what the current numbers are for budgeting and everything. So those may change. We may not know what exactly.
And the maximum awarded potential is $5 million, right?
Correct.
So the max we could use out of that is $3.5 million.
Correct, somewhere around there, correct.
All right, thanks.
So, however, now we also have to factor in that there is another piece of this puzzle, and that is, if you recall, currently our track has been deemed unusable. We've been talking about redoing the athletic complex. That's why I keep calling it, Tammy keeps calling, Tom, that's not a complex, okay, whatever it is, all right? The athletic area, fields, whatever you want to call it. So that's the quote that I gave out there, so we're still working with Gail as our designers, architects. I'm sorry, this is very small on the screen, but hopefully you can see it on your individual screen, and I can get you a bigger version of it. But we have met with them, they did map out a timeline for potential construction, what we might be able to do and everything else, but they estimate that the cost of that work is also going to be about $3 to $3.5 million. So the timing of this is not the best timing.
Wow.
So we have some things that we have to obviously consider. One thing is, I did speak with Mr. Brooks. What we're going to try to have is a presentation for a joint meeting of the Finance Committee and Capital Committee, hopefully with some little bit stronger numbers that kind of show what they're going to be. Tammy and I had already reached out to, and then we reached out again to a company that does specific financing for projects for municipalities. Once we kind of get some a little bit numbers, we're going to have a longer conversation with them to talk about what might be looking at if we decide to finance this. So there's a lot on the table. One of the things I'll finish with, because I'd like to be honest and take a little shot at Desi every once in a while. This is one of the worst timed grants in terms of the sequence that they have. They literally put the grant out in August. By the way, in the RFP, they then started changing the RFP after they put it out because people were calling them saying, well, what about this? This is like, I'll give you an example. The example I mentioned to Katie once. They put something in the RFP that said that if you were one of the towns that was affected by the new housing law, where if you have an MBTA or a T-stop in your town, you have to build local income housing near that place. Yeah. They made that a prerequisite to getting the grant. And everybody was like, what if we can't build the housing? So they realized, they pulled it back and they took it off. So bad RFP when they first put it out there. And if you look at the timeline, they want everybody to have students in seats in the fall of 2026. We don't even know that we get this grant until after Christmas. And then you got to do all the building and everything else. Now, if you get kids started in 2027, they'll still be happy about that. But they're going to probably favor people who can say that they can get kids in for 2026. Good luck to the people that are doing that. So, anyhow.
Two things. One, if Desi was serious, these numbers don't work. I mean, in the private industry, I might be able to build you an 18,000 square foot building for $5 million. But in the government, no way you can do that. So the numbers just aren't realistic. And then on the field, and I'll look to Councilor Brooks, I believe Gardner's paid like $5 million to replace the field and the bleachers. So I'm not saying the number you have is wrong. I just want you to be aware. I just want you to know that Gardner did this a couple of years back. Was it around $5 million, Tammy?
Yeah, they did have a little more than probably what being ours with the.
Yeah, they might have made it nicer.
And this was just a guesstimate from Gail.
Does this have an artificial turf?
Not today.
It doesn't now, but that's.
No, is that the plan?
That's one of the things that's kind of been left in the conversation.
What did it cost us to build the vet building?
$2 million.
2 something,
0.3
but
or 7,800 square feet?
Katie got to calculate it.
It's a
also.
7,000 square foot building, and we raised $2 million, but then the district put in, Tammy, $400,000 to $500,000.
And don't forget, we built it ourselves.
And we built it, so it took 3 years to do that. So it's not something we could feasibly do.
We couldn't do that with this grant in the timeline.
Well, and I'll also point out that I was saying to Katie today that it was great when I turned on the news and we're thinking of building various things all over the place. And you hear that lumber has just gotten a 10% tariff increase, and furnishings, and I forget what else, is going up 25% too, so. Yes, ma'am.
Now, are they planning on with this, like with the field and everything, is it going like turf and?
Well, that's why we're deciding, I think that's gonna be a big factor, when they think they can have a stronger number than they have right now. I mean, Obviously, ideally, turf is obviously longer lasting. MIA loves to come out and play tournaments on fields and everything else, turf fields, but we'll just have to wait and see what that's like.
Now, are we, is like the school using quite a bit of the budget to now have the kids go to different sites for sports because the field is not feasible? Like, what's the
So
cost of that?
we can still use the field, so football's still playing on there, and, you know, other sports teams as well. Track cannot. So we found this out last spring. So track last year, basically all their meets for outdoor track in the spring were held at other fields, or other tracks. I'm not sure if they charged us, but we certainly then had to drive everybody over, so transportation costs were part of that. So. Now, sorry, go ahead.
Is Game On still for sale?
Game On is still, we still use Game On for,
We use it for.
Field hockey?
Field hockey right now, and we use it for lacrosse, yeah.
Yeah.
This season field hockey goes up.
It is for sale.
yeah. Oh, I thought you were just asking if we use it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, I've heard that it's for sale, and then next month they'll say it's not for sale, so that's what I've been hearing, so. Do you want us to buy it? How much, what do you want me to throw that in for?
It comes with a lot of
Yeah.
land.
That's the tail end of that question.
Yes, yes,
It's nearby. and
Yeah.
how much is it?
yeah. But then where are we gonna do graduation? That's the issue too. Yes, yeah. So, just to, guys, I think this is a great I mean, we keep talking about that, yeah, Mr. Olson isn't here, but we keep talking about trying to find options that we can find, that we can expand our enrollment. And this grant does have elements that certainly are that. So I hope that everybody, right now, we're plowing ahead and we're doing both versions. We're gonna come up with solutions both ways to see what it makes the most sense. We'll share that with the two committees. Here's the problem. The grant has to be submitted on October 31st. So how we can come back together, if necessary, to have that conversation, we have time to have that conversation, I guess, to figure that out. But I'll certainly be keeping everybody updated through this process. Again, the timeline for this grant was not a very great timeline that they put out there. So we'll be rushed, but we're going to be keeping you guys notified as always.
So to do the two new programs, the health assistant and public safety, we would need a new building?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have to do it someplace else. We can't do anywhere in this building.
Can't squeeze them in here, you're saying?
No, God, no.
Okay.
God, no. Yeah.
How about the electrical shop, the plumbing shop?
There's gonna be a plumbing shop, so no. If I don't see that plumbing shop existing, I'm gonna be angry. Yes, ma'am.
Can you submit the application, but then not?
Yeah, it's not the best,
Yeah.
the head fake move is not the best way, because
Yeah.
then the next time you put one in, they're gonna say, you're gonna do that to us again? So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're talking two more shops, what is an impact on the academics? Or are you anticipating that space would free up here?
So space in the building would free up in the sense that, don't forget, now we're moving health out to the other building. So, yeah, we would have some space to expand stuff, yeah. So we'd explore what we could do. Okay, and I think that's it for me.
How many of us have run into playing the lottery?
All right. Any other questions for Superintendent Braun? No? All right. Next item on the agenda is 2B, out-of-state field trip. Would anyone like
Mr.
to?
Chairman, I move that the district committee votes to approve an out-of-state field trip for 38 senior and sophomore students in plumbing to travel to Viega Educational Center in Nashua, New Hampshire on December 11th, 2025 at no cost to the students.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Jones seconds. Mr. Barber?
Pretty specific on December 11th, is that in snow season?
What's snow season?
Get it that early.
Yeah, you never know.
Do we need to just, in December 2025, or in December 11th? What if it snows the 11th and we can't go?
We just reschedule it. Yeah, it's not a trip. This is a trip we do every single year. If it snowed, they would be quick to allow us to switch to a different date.
Any other questions? Seeing none, could Would you call the vote?
Sorry, I'll have to ask you each.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Harvey.
Motion carries. All right, item 3A, student representative report. Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie. If anyone hasn't met me before, I was here at the last meeting. I'm in the vet science shop. That health lock, is that, I just had a question about the health lock shop. Is that keeping the health lock and then adding the medical assisting and the public safety?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, essentially, yes. If they split it up a little bit, but yeah, health lock's not going away.
I think that's a really good idea. I know a lot of students that are from different schools that really like to do like EMT stuff like that for the public safety that don't go here because we only have the health lock program. And the health lock program also does a lot more of nursing type stuff rather than medical assisting that almost applies more to the vet science trade. So I think that's a really good idea.
Katie, you have your spokesperson.
But for the student body, what we're kind of up to right now, the athletics, we have football, track, cross country, and volleyball going right now. The next home football game is on October 10th against St. Bernard's. We have for volleyball, they're currently working hard to prepare their senior night, which will be held on October 14th, as well as their pink game, where they support breast cancer on October 21st. They do that every year. For co-op, I think you already said this, but we currently have 138 seniors participating in co-op, so that's 50 more from the last meeting. I know that in regards of how many people differ from different shops, I know that certain shops are a little bit harder to get people on co-op. I know that engineering doesn't have everybody out right now. I know that vet science does. Most shops have at least a couple handfuls. I know that some of them are a little bit trickier when they have such a broad workforce, for sure. But for our clubs, we have student councils working really hard right now. They're planning the homecoming on our first Spirit Week, which is on October 20th through the 24th, followed by the homecoming game and the homecoming dance on October 25th. We also have the class office playing Senior Sunrise, which is on October 8th, so this coming up week. They're also finalizing and sharing details on the senior class trip, which is on October 23rd at Splitsville and the Patriots Place. For National Honor Society, they just sent out applications delivered to eligible juniors and seniors, and they're working pretty hard to get their applicants. I've had a junior talk to me trying to figure out how to build up her application stuff and how that goes. And then the new members, once they get accepted, they'll be inducted. I think it's November 3rd, not sure if it was finalized or not, mid to early November, they usually get inducted. And then our current members are working on community service projects. My group is working on to raise money for blood cancer research and donating that to Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. They have like a Light the Night event at Polar Park and kind of all over the world that does walk for blood cancer and stuff like that. And then JRTC is also working on a community service project right now. They do their march-a-thon every year. That's coming up on November 1st. They're going to march 10 miles to raise money for Wreaths Across America with their annual convoy to deliver wreaths to veteran graves throughout New England and all the way to Arlington National Cemetery. Their goal is to raise $250 per cadet with the support of their sponsors, which will donate either a certain amount of money or per mile. And then for Skills USA, their leadership team has installed and is currently conducting a fundraiser raffle, starting on their fall state leadership conference. And then the entire chapter is also beginning to plan their annual Christmas party. And for kind of our miscellaneous events, we have Tour Day, which I think we already talked about, on October 24th and October 27th, followed by our annual open house on October 27th as well. And then we have PSATs, which are held on October 22nd to registered students. We also have a representative from the EFMA, which will be held on October 16th. So they're going to meet with students and parents for annual college financial aid night. We also have our Powder Puff football signups. Juniors and seniors are looking forward to that game as well. We've had students running to the cafeteria to sign up, and that's kind of what wraps up that. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Oh, we have one over here.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment because I know the girls are very excited about it. The girls varsity soccer team is currently 8-1.
Oh, wow.
And there's like 5 freshmen on the team.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
We've had good sports
Yeah.
coming in from other schools. Their freshmen are pretty skilled.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exciting.
Well, thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Principal's report, Mrs. Carlson.
Nice one.
Hi, how's everyone doing? Stephanie, welcome. It's so nice to have you joining us, Montachusett, in a different role. So, Board of Principals report. It's been a busy start to the year. I always say this is always an exciting time, fresh new start for everybody, but September 11th, we had our back to school night. If you remember, we basically invite parents to come in and follow their children's schedule. So it's quick. They all comment. I tell them we give their kids, their kids cardio because they're just zooming back and forth. They're like, wait a minute, my kid has a class in building 1 and I'm going all the way to the gymnasium. I'm like, yes, we keep them moving, right? Less time to get into trouble in that. But we do 2 sessions. We do sophomores and seniors in a split of weeks, and then freshmen and juniors. As you can imagine, certainly the later session is the one that's most attended, and I think, again, that's the freshman parents. They're new to the school, new expectations for the students that come in. They're a little nervous. They're getting acclimated to our IBU schedule. So that is certainly one of the times. All administrators are here, nurses, dean of students, certainly counselors too. So again, an opportunity as parents are walking, throughout the building to ask questions and certainly connect to people and put, I'm sorry, I'm blocking you, and certainly put faces to names. We, our PD on September 12th, we are hardcore all NEASC at this point. As you know, we are going to have our visit come spring. So right now we're just very busy, certainly working on our self-study. We've sent out surveys to families, to students, to staff. We had a great response too. So we're sort of dissecting and impacting all the staff, and people are working in their committees, certainly to work on their stuff. Our co-chairs this year are Kamali Sintram from Health Occupations and Kirsten Ferris. English teacher, again, 2 phenomenal staff that are always just willing to lead things in our building, are certainly a great asset to our school as they work and support teachers throughout the building working on their reports. We hosted our honor roll banquets last week, and certainly thank you to Christy and to Cynthia. This was the highest number we have had to date, and I have the list that Christy provided me, and just the growth of the number of students. We celebrated 558 students, which means that these students made the honor roll all 4 quarters last year, which is pretty impressive, right? And as we know, our students are not just coming to school and that is it, right? We also talk about that well-rounded student. Kids are going to co-op, or they have a little part-time gig outside of school, and they're playing sports, and they're involved in clubs and activities. So we always say kudos to these students for really sticking and being committed to their vocational training, their academic training, and going above and beyond. We always have a fantastic staff that are willing to give up the night to come and help us celebrate. We do a buffet style, and then certainly we always help clean up at the end. So again, the amount of staff, our cafeteria staff, as you know, they always feed us well. They're fantastic. They feed our children every day in the building and us. And really did a wonderful job. This year, one of the comments we got last year was, we tend to serve the same meals. Right? We call it the wedding chicken, the stuffed chicken breast. And we wanted to be a little bit more diverse and add a little spice to our menu. So this year, Jason Yeagle came up with a recipe, and it was a Spanish rice that was also served with rice. And that was another option, which was very well received amongst our community. So it was really great, and it was delicious. Again, college and career night, so that was, again, busy night. We had honor roll banquet, college, career night, and then another honor roll banquet. College and career fair, if you're ever here, I mean, the line literally to get into the college and career fit goes out right into the hallway. Again, Kim Dinopoulos from our Student Support Services Administrative Assistant, again, does a fantastic job really taking the lead on that. Same with our school counselors, certainly Vicki, and other administrative assistants in the Student Support Services office. We had well over 80 representatives from different colleges, universities, technical schools. We had military branches there as well. The first 50 participants, I think, received a Dunkin's gift card, and also one of our lucky students was able to walk away with an iPad that he won. So that was outstanding. Cool. So, and then upcoming, we have fall VIP that filled, as you can imagine. Those, once we put those out, they fill quite quickly, as interested 7th and 8th graders always look forward to attending our VIP sessions here again to learn about the offerings at Montachusett and spend a little time here on campus. Upcoming events, Natalie did a great job again, you can read that. A couple things that I want to point out too, just up and coming. December 8th, I know something, Natalie talked about ROTC really working hard to raise funds for Reads Across America. We are going to be hosting the ceremony here, so we will have a convoy that's going to happen on December 8th. We'll have more information at our next meeting to share with you guys as we are just in the beginning stages of planning that with them. And also, as we move ahead for the spring, with our admissions, Chrissy Lamy, who does admissions, who's outstanding, brought up a wonderful point a couple weeks ago and said, listen, we have our actual career awareness now where we invite our incoming interested students, prospective students, and our current students to come and visit all of our programs, and that date was scheduled for March 5th. The deadline to apply is March 1st. It makes zero sense to say, hey, apply, there's a deadline, and then 4 days later, we're like, hey, we're awesome, get to know about us and our admissions process, and by the way, you're too late to apply. So, we moved, so now our career awareness night is going to be held on February 5th, so it's just a month prior. Fingers crossed that we have good weather. We'll do have a tentative snow day in the event that happens, but those are just two quick little changes upcoming just to kind of put on your radar. That is it for now. Parent-teacher conferences, all that good stuff. You could read up my upcoming events there. Any questions with this?
You said you're doing Wreaths Across America on the 8th of
December 8th.
Wow. If anybody did not go to the one that was several years.
2017 is when we last hosted.
Was that the 17th?
Yes.
No, I knew it was a few years
Last
ago.
year, Montachusett, we attended, but our kids, yes.
It was, I mean, I had the goosebumps watching the trucks
It was
come
pretty, yes.
and seeing people.
Yeah. Remember, it started to snow too. Yeah.
Flags up.
It was, they were on campus today just to check out again. You know, it's been a while, so but we're just a perfect spot, right? Right off the highway, we have plenty of parking. So as you can imagine, everything on that day is canceled after school. Our late buses, sports activities, because we really want to ensure that we have the space for, again, for the trucks to get, the parking and really empty out our campus so we can just focus. So we're serving a dinner and stuff, but it is a beautiful, if you can be part of that, and we'll make sure we let you know more details, but it is a wonderful experience. It's very touching.
I can remember too, we all had to wait an hour and a half extra.
Yes, because they were running.
Traffic and
Yes.
all this, and virtually everybody waited.
Yes. And First Sergeant Shane Dillon is really taking the lead on this. He's been in communication with them. So again, him and Jeremy Mickelson are, as you know, doing an outstanding job with what they do with their community organization and really getting our cadets ready for this event as well. So we're very lucky. I think it's a privilege to be able to host them. So, you also have the enrollment report again, and in there too, you have a copy of the wait list by town. Yes.
On the enrollment report, notice on Gardner, with my math right, their apportionment is 38, they're at 37, but they have a wait list. Is that just a...
Are you looking at the wait list or the enrollment report?
The enrollment report, first page.
The first?
Is,
38.
38.
Okay.
And if I add 19, 17, and 1, then 37.
So I believe, if I remember, and Donna Schaff told me, and I hope I don't screw it up, a Gardner student did decide to go back. They're literally in the process of picking that new student who's going to take spots. They just had to call the family and everything else.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
Is it below?
Yeah, I believe that's, Donna, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the principal? Thank you, Mrs.
All right,
Carlson.
have a great night, thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right, personnel, we have no retirements, we have 2 resignations, and it looks like 9 appointments. If there's any questions on those, here's your opportunity. Otherwise, I'm going to move right on by. I'm moving right on by. All right, so reports by subcommittee. Mrs. Swenson and the policy committee have apparently been extremely busy,
Oh, very busy.
and they have 7 items tonight. So, Mrs. Swenson.
Okay, the first few were easy. Move that the district committee approve for second reading, policy JF, which is the admissions, which we had talked about, and there was just a couple of minor changes being made, nothing to do with the content of it directly, or the intent of anything. One was to increase, to put in a particular no later than a date going in, and then another one was, instead of setting a status by letter only, it was by letter or email. And then there was one relative to the citizenship status. So that was all the changes that were discussed last meeting. They've been included in it, and it's ready to go for second reading.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from, is that Mrs. Jones? All right. Any questions, Mr. Prasad?
Earlier tonight, Tom told us that Monty Tech personnel aren't going to be doing the lottery. But we say in here that it is conducted by Monty Tech personnel.
Well, no, we'll be there. It's happening here, but the guy who runs the database.
Or an agent of, maybe just put something.
I mean, we're there. I don't think it's that money, it's not, we're gonna be part of the process.
It says
The concern
lottery
last time,
conducted by Monty Tech personnel.
well, we're designees, but last month it was more of a concern of whether Montech was going to be responsible for the whole thing, or whether it was that they're sending schools, and that was a discussion we had, and it's Montech's going to be responsible for all of it, regardless of whether we use electronic or not.
And let me remind everybody, literally, what the lottery is going to be is, okay, Ashram, you're first. Boom, and 10 ID numbers are gonna come out. It's not gonna be names, it's not gonna be anything. Families are gonna be the only ones, well, and us, the only ones who know whose ID goes with. So, as I said last time, it's not like Price is Right, where everybody wins and jumps up and down and everything. It's not like that.
John?
Yeah, on the, excuse me. You have the actual names of the administration in there, and I didn't know if, is that what we normally do rather than call out?
Yes, we're required
In
to.
this one, in this case, yes.
Yes.
For this particular
Yeah.
one, required to, but you are correct. Typically, we prefer to say the department or whatever, so we don't have to change policies, but this thing's going to be changed every year.
Yeah. Families that are applying need to know who they directly reach out to by name. That's what this says.
Any other questions? Mr. Barber?
A couple, that don't clarify, we'll refer to someone a little more English oriented. On page 5, for admissions, the 11th or 12th grade, it's, the first sentence, second line, transferring from another independent, regional vocational technical school. Should the comma be the word or? Transferring from another independent or regional vocational technical school?
I'm sorry, I was flipping open to get to it, so I
Sorry,
didn't.
On page 5.
Page 5, under for admissions to 11th and 12th grade, first sentence.
Yes.
Independent.
I mean, I can take the comment, it didn't come up as an error, but I.
Well, no, but are we saying someone transferring from an independent or a regional vocational technical school, or an independent, regional vocational technical school?
So what's the use of the word independent here? What's that refer to?
To be honest, it's the word that was there, that it's always been there, and we've never touched
Yeah.
it, so. No one's ever brought it up before.
Sorry.
Well, probably independent in this case would be where you would maybe have another school that has a vocational portion of it, rather than
That's the way I took it.
solely vocational school.
So
Yeah.
like
That's why
Leominster
I
High.
think it's
Like
not,
Leominster High, yeah, exactly.
it's not an independent from a regional vocational, it means independent or a regional vocational school.
If you took out those two adjectives, independent and regional, could it just be vocational technical school, and that suffice? I know we're on the second reading, but you might want to make that in the future, Diane, since you said that's what you changed. Doesn't make sense. If they're coming from another vocational technical school, it covers them all.
But Leominster High, is that considered a vocational technical school?
They're part of it, is, yeah.
Actually, they're technically a standalone now. Like, when I left Leominster, they switched to, CTE technically is a school in and of itself, technically.
Okay.
I guess we should just figure out what we mean by this.
Yeah, like I said, we didn't put that there, but one thing I would say is, and we kind of talked about it here, a lot of the superintendents don't want to touch anything that has regional, vocational, technical, because we're already scared that they're going to come and tell us that we have to turn it to career, technical, education, which is what DESI uses all the time. So,
I know the sound maybe, and I can understand both ways it's going, but if we could even leave it for this year, just so we can hit the deadline. This is going to come around, but I'll put it in the file for next year to make more clarification, if that's okay, John.
It's fine. It's fine with me. Ross brought it up, so I'm just trying to figure it out. Forget I said. Just travel with John, just on land for a while, that's good. Everybody safe?
And just another thought, not asking for a change, but maybe thoughts for next time is that, section 7, selection process, 1, 2, 3, the fourth paragraph, one at the bottom of the page. That kind of refers to kind of like there'll be a lottery for each and every town, and a wait list created for each and every town. And I take it that that's referring to like the unfilled apportionment seats like from Harvard. There's a total separate lottery, June 1, of all of the applicants that didn't get accepted, which I would take that's also going to include the people that were late applicants between March 1 and June 1. And there's not anything noted there about maintaining that wait list, because in previous policy, there's spots in there where if a student withdraws September 29th, if that creates an opening in a town's quota, that will be filled from that particular town's waiting list. If it doesn't create an opening in their apportionment quota, the person that would fill that seat would be from an overall waiting list. Am I?
yes. Yeah, that's funny, because I could have swear we had something in
I
that talks about maintaining.
thought I must have missed it.
I could have swore it was in there.
Yeah. And I could have missed it too. And I'm not asking for anything to be changed.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
pointing out that there's a little vagueness there.
yeah,
about
no, I'm very surprised, but I'll see if I can take a look at it.
it is.
I thought we talked about it last time.
Any other, Mr. Prasad?
Ross just mentioned that the lottery for the excess capacity that isn't consumed by an individual community like Harvard happens on June 1st. That'll be another time we do a lottery.
Technically, June 1st is the time where you have to have submitted an application for the shift, because people can come and go. So there may be, by June 1st, we want to know, are you staying, are you taking your seats and everything? So then, for instance, Harvard, take additional seats that weren't available.
So this year there were 11, it looked like, that they didn't fill.
So
So those 11 seats go out to this week. I thought the wait list would have already been picked.
You can do it then, but you're not gonna start drawing from it till June 1st. The thing is though, that people might be coming, with the lottery, or with the way it's happening, we're not sure if people are gonna be applying early, late, you know,
So
whatever.
we're gonna have multiple lotteries at different dates.
No. We'll do the one main list when we first get everybody. If people apply after March 1st, they're added, as Ross said, to the bottom of the list. So,
But then when you do the June lottery, those people are just part of the whole
correct,
cohort of people.
correct.
So they're no longer at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
They may be at the bottom of the list by
There.
town.
Don't worry, you're not a
Yes.
parent, it's just.
That means, to me, if we do a June lottery, that's another, we're gonna do lottery in June.
No,
I may move to Harvard.
No.
So how are you gonna do a June lottery?
I thought if you came in late, you went to the bottom of the list for the town, but you also go to the bottom of the list for the June 1st lottery.
That's what I
Correct.
thought, but let me
See,
double check that. if
So you
that's
go
the
to,
question.
I thought you went to the bottom of the list for June 1st, and it's just that June,
Yeah.
you're not
that's
dealing
all
with,
I didn't see.
Yeah, because others, let's face it, there are other districts that don't have the situation we have where they have a town that doesn't fill. I mean, there are some that do, but there aren't a lot. So I was under the impression that it was at the bottom, but I can confirm that.
I know that's, to
Because-
me, it was in that section 7. but
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Aren't all of the lotteries being drawn at the same time?
That was what my impression was.
Yeah,
I'll double
so that full list would already have its
Yeah.
numbers.
check. Yeah, and anyone who came late was on the
Which
bottom.
is, yeah, okay.
But I'll confirm that. In fact, we have Mama call first thing in the morning, so.
Anything else on policy number 1? No? Can we call that one, Tammy?
is there a baseball game tonight we're missing?
I don't know, but, you know, I'm getting old, I might pass away.
Tied right now, 3-3.
Do you mean that? Yeah, it's kind of like the end.
What's going on?
I don't even know what I
Mr. Moss.
What inning?
Thank
Two outs in the bottom,
Like,
6.
just say yes.
Old Bay will have to.
Diane works really hard on the wording.
It passed.
Thank you.
Good, I voted right.
Item B.
Okay, 12 yes, 1 nay, 1 abstention.
Next one.
Yep.
Move that the district committee approve for second reading policy IKF, competency determination. This is our graduation requirements. So this is strictly for second.
Do we have a second?
Second. Tie.
We'll give that to Mrs. Jones. Because I can see her last name and I can't pronounce your last name.
Oh, great.
Any discussion?
Yes, easy name win.
Tammy, can you call that one too?
Sure. Yes.
Did you get one? There's like cherry stuff on it.
Yes.
I didn't, I was wondering what that was.
I don't know, but it's got a cherry.
I could see it.
It's delicious.
More like chocolate with cherry, chocolate cherry.
Just John.
So good.
Trying to do two things here. 3-3, bottom of 6.
Oh, jeez. That is important, actually. You want to just tell me about it?
No, I'm not even against it, I'm just.
Oh, it came up. Oh. 13 yes, 1 abstention.
Perfect. Motion carries. Item C.
Move that the district committee approve for second reading policy IHBEA, English language fluency.
Second.
Is that Jada?
No.
Ah,
I didn't bother this time.
Shelley, because I don't have Jada in the system.
Always would be Shelley. All right. So we have the second discussion. Seeing none, can we call that one, Tammy?
13 yes, 1 abstention.
I wonder who.
Doesn't
Number 4.
Move that the district committee approve for second reading policy BIDA, travel.
Second.
We have a second. Discussion. Seeing none, call that one, please. I'm with you, man.
13 yes, 1 abstention.
Phenomenal. Motion carries. Number 5.
Move that the district committee approve for a first reading KBBA non-custodial parents' rights.
We have a second.
Second.
This gentleman. We have a second. Discussion. Seeing none. Tammy.
Yes, 1 abstention.
Motion carries. Policy number 6.
Move that the district committee approve for first reading policy EBAB, integrated pest management.
I will also second that.
We have another second. That's phenomenal. Discussion. Seeing none. Tammy, could you please call that motion, vote as well?
Just Ellen.
Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't come up. Sorry.
Not worried. 13 yes, 1 abstention.
Motion carries. And the last one, Mrs. Swenson, she might run out of breath here. There's a lot to read.
Move that the district committee approve for a first reading policy EBC emergency plan, EBCD emergency closing, ECAF security cameras in schools, and delete EBCD fire drills and EBCC bomb threats as they are included in the new policy EBCD.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have our second from Mrs. Jones. Discussion.
What was that motion again?
You're really gonna do that to me, Kevin?
So any discussion on this one? Seeing none. Tammy, could you call this one, please?
And I thank one and all for pushing this through. We are trying our best this year to get every policy
13
up.
yes, 1 abstention.
And that
work
motion
hard.
carries. Good work, Diane and team.
Team.
Capital improvements, Scott, I'm going to do just to you what I did with Jada. I can never get your name right either.
That's fine. So capital improvements, we're hoping to have a meeting on the 22nd of October at 6:30, be a joint subcommittee meeting with financial planning.
Phenomenal.
The 27th?
22nd, 6:30. Yeah.
All righty. Item I, workforce. I know Eric's not here tonight. Was anyone filling in for him on that one?
I'll obviously work on part of it, Tammy, as well. We'll just let everybody know there has been additional meetings with the CAF workers and paras, and we have another session scheduled for the 7th.
Any questions on that? Seeing none. Item J, school committee graduation gift. Dr. Tarigny's not here. Michael, you, no?
No news.
All right, cool, thank you. Student advisory, Mr. Barber.
We have none yet, but we're in conversations of setting up a meeting.
Excellent, thank you. And financial planning, Mr. Brooks.
Yep, we did meet earlier today to discuss a motion that's coming a little further on the agenda. We also tentatively set up regular monthly meetings the Wednesday night prior to school committee meetings at 6:30, just to try and get some kind of regular schedule. If there's no matters to discuss, then we'll just cancel the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Financials, financial statements are in the packet. If there's any questions on those, the business manager is here. All right, there are none. Item B.
Move that the district committee votes to accept the donation from Larry Tebow of a cordless drill, circular saw, and various nail guns with an approximate value of $500 for the cabinet making and masonry shops.
Do you have a second?
Second.
We got a second from Mrs. Jones. Discussion. Seeing none, could you call that 10?
I like her sound.
I was going to do E, unless you want to do it. Okay. That's what we discussed at the meeting. E. We discussed that at the meeting, that's why.
That's unanimous.
Phenomenal. Motion carries. Item C.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the district committee votes to accept a donation, wrong one, from Barbara Landry, Fitchburg, of a 3D printer and accessories with an approximate value of $1,000 for the CAD drafting shop.
Second.
We have a second from Mrs. Jones. Discussion. Seeing none.
Unanimous.
Motion carries, and I would like to thank Mr. Tebow and Mrs. Landry for their generous donations. Audit reports are in the packet here. They were covered at the beginning of the meeting. Are there any questions on this? And Tim, we don't have to do any kind of motion on this, do we?
Please don't ask me any questions on it. No, I'm kidding.
Bill's itching.
You can bring John back on screen if you want.
Item E, transportation reimbursement revolving fund deposit.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the district committee approve of depositing $200,000 received from state aid transportation for fiscal year 2025 into the Regional School Transportation Reimbursement Revolving Fund per Mass General Law, Chapter 71, Section 16C, as amended by Chapter 233 of the Acts of 2014.
Second.
And we have a second from Mr. Prasad. And discussion.
Yes, so the Financial Planning Committee met earlier and we voted to recommend approval of this item. It was part of the FY26 budget and it's similar to action this committee has taken in prior years.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Tammy, could you call that, please?
We didn't, if you take the other one, yeah, fine.
And that was unanimous.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move the district committee approve the recommendation to transfer funds or close accounts from dormant student activity accounts per the memo attached.
Second.
We have a second from Mrs. Jones. Discussion. All right, seeing none, if you could call that, Tim.
And that's unanimous.
Motion carries. The next item is informational. It's a student activity account balance list. If Do you have any questions on this? The business manager is available to take them.
Don't ask, no.
All right, no questions on that. And communication. We have no teacher information or proposals submitted in advance. I have no school committee chairman's report, and John didn't give me one. And we also received no school committee information or proposals in advance of the meeting. So, school committee comments. Mrs. Swenson.
I'm busy. I dropped off for everybody. This is, I have John's delegated me to be the delegate for Montachusett at the MASC meeting in November.
Congratulations.
It's 30 years I've avoided doing it. My God. Anyway, I made copies of the resolution, so if people have any questions or comments or anything that I should be asking, have any thoughts for what I could say, if anything, my email address is on there. I would appreciate the information, but I don't know if everybody receives the pamphlets or not. The other thing that I dropped off, and if I missed the desk, let me know, and that's the pin designed by one of the students at Montachusett for Skills USA at the national conference in last June. I had them, but I wasn't sure if the students were coming or not. I finally figured sooner or later I'm going to lose these in my house. I know I will, so I brought them in. If you'd like one, I have some extras for those that weren't here.
Thank you.
Diane, when you were appointed as delegate, were you thinking, where's Mary Barkley when I need her?
Yes, I was. So wishing I could call on Mary Barkley to come back and do it, because she did a good job.
I'd be happy with the public safety proposal.
Oh, yeah, she would be thrilled with that.
Oh, yeah.
So, progressing down the left-hand side, Mr. Mr. Hurley, John.
This is not a political statement. For some reason today, I was reading emails, and I saw that President Trump, this is not a political statement, said Tuesday that Harvard University has reached a tentative deal with his administration to restore the money that's being withheld, which you probably know. However, part of the deal was America's oldest college will spend about $500 million, this is to get them back in the game, to launch and operate trade schools. It goes on, blah, blah, blah. This would be a giant trade school or series of trade schools, or to be run by Harvard, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just making, I don't know the veracity of it, but I've just seen, everybody should know.
They'd be more successful giving the money to us, John.
What's that?
They'd be more successful if they gave us the money than them
We could
running
build
it
our
themselves.
It's interesting. I don't know where you're going to get the teachers to teach with that kind of money. You could start a school, you could get kids in there, but
Yeah.
that would be hard.
Well, fortunately, John, I did take a leadership workshop at Harvard a few years ago, so I've got some pull. I'll see what
How long have I been here? Maybe 10.
John, what I found really ironic is he refers to it as trade schools. And everybody around the country is changing it to career technical education.
Yeah.
And he's bringing us back to trade schools.
They also said that something to the effect that this would work out well because they're the smartest people or something like that. Which I'm not going to disagree with, but just in terms of running trade schools. I don't know, just, I couldn't help but see.
Actually, if you think about it, Carnegie's background comes from that, right? Carnegie Mellon?
Yeah.
They'd be better suited. Mr. Barber?
Welcome to Stephanie.
Well, glad to be here today and be here with everyone, and look forward to a good year.
Same, welcome Stephanie.
Scott? Stephanie?
Thanks for letting me join tonight.
We're
Really
thrilled
quick,
to have
I just
you.
kind of jumped right in here.
We will make sure that you have a machine next time you're here. And
Yeah.
get you trained on the
sign,
boat.
a nameplate.
That's
I mean, I thought that was a good one. That's good. Thank you.
All set.
Welcome again. And maybe Petersham, they could open, Harvard could open an Aggie school up in Petersham on their forest.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Thousands of acres.
Thousands.
Yes, but nothing for me.
All right. Excellent.
Motion
No
to adjourn?
correspondence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.